Delegations, case study group 2. My name is Malia.
Michaela, Priscilla,
Gabe,
and Courtney.
What physical signs of abuse or neglect are described in the second case study? The physical signs were bruising on Adnan's stomach and old fractures found on his x-rays. These included bone remodeling on his left thigh bone, left clavicle, and linear skull fracture on the left side of his head.
what behavior signs of abuse or neglect are described in the second case study? Adnan showed behavior signs of sadness and frustration, especially when he had trouble expressing himself because of his speech delay. Zaina did not recognize, the seriousness of Adnan's injuries, which can be seen as a behavior sign of neglect or the part of the caregiver. Could these signs be explained by an accidental injury or differential diagnosis? Why or why not? Some of the injuries could be explained by an accident. Zaina said the old broken bones were caused by debris hitting Adnan when their home was bombed in Syria. She explained the new bruises happened when Adnan fell at the playground. However, CPS did not fully believe this because no adult saw the fall. And the bruising seemed too serious for a simple playground accident. That is why they believe the injuries could not be fully explained by an accident and the suspect possible abuse or neglect.
how does the age and vulnerability of the child impact the risk of the situation and the likelihood that the abuse or neglect occurred? Being that Adnan is only 3 years old, it makes him very vulnerable at this age. And at that age, children cannot protect themselves or explain what clearly happened to them. Because of his young age and the inability to properly communicate, it made the injuries more concerning and made CPS more likely to believe that abuse or neglect had occurred. What ongoing risks are posed for the child in the above case scenario? And how is the case scenario left off or ended? Adnan is separated from his parents, which can obviously cause a lot of emotional trauma and attachment issues. His speech delay has not been addressed, which could lead to ongoing developmental problems. He has also been placed outside his cultural community, which may cause confusion, isolation, and identity struggles. There are still concerns about possible physical injuries that need medical follow-up. There's also a legal case that creates instability that could delay Adnan's reunification with his parents. And also Adnan may struggle to form secure relationships in the future if he stays in foster care too long without support.
What other information would help you rule out abuse, neglect, or provide sufficient evidence to determine if maltreatment occurred? Full medical history from Syria and refugee camps, like injury record and hospital visits, detailed documentation of the bombing incident and any past trauma, witness statements from people who were present during the playground fall, expert evaluation by a pediatrician specializing in trauma injuries, speech and developmental assessment to check for other signs of neglect or trauma, home environment inspection to assess living conditions and supervision, interviews with community members who know the family well, and cultural consultation to understand family norms and past experiences, and then mental health evaluation of both Adnan and Zaina for signs of PTSD or stress-related behaviors. What Texas Family Code defines of abuse or neglect do you think might be indicated based on the above? This would be physical abuse, inflicting or allowing physical injury that results in substantial harm to the child, like the unexplained abdominal bruising and previous fractures. Neglectful supervision, placing a child in or failing to remove a child from a situation where the child would be exposed to substantial risk of physical or mental harm, like not supervising Adnan closely at the playground, and failure to seek medical care, and failure to seek, obtain, or follow through with medical care for injuries that could result in further harm, like only giving Tylenol after a serious injury without a medical evaluation.
What protective factors exist for the child and family at this point? Strong support network within the Syrian community in their mosque. Positive parental involvement shown by Zaina's concern for Adnan's speech and bringing his favorite items to visits. Willingness to access health shown by going to the doctor with Sarah support. Presence of a trust adult by Sarah who can assist with navigating services. Cultural identity and connection, providing emotional and social stability. And cooperation with CPS visits and maintaining regular supervised visits with admin. Thank you.